Hi everybody, this is Blaine with Orchids for the People, where we cater to the curious and long-time orchid addict. Our plant of the day is actually the genus of the day, and it is Masdevallias. We started out here in this group. They work perfectly for our environment, and this is our origin story, basically. One of the biggest reasons why we started growing Masdevallias in the first place was simply our growing conditions. We live in Northern California, less than a mile from the beach. It is a very temperate to cool growing environment here. We rarely get into the 80s, and winter is very long, it's very dark, it's very rainy. So Masdevallias fit into our growing conditions perfectly. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Masdevallias' native environment. Most Masdevallias grow between about 3,000 and 12,000 feet in the Andes of South America. The growing conditions are cool, moist, and shady. It's the easiest way to put it. Overcast days, dewy mornings, rain, periodic rain, regular periodic rain. And so one of the things that they have developed is the lack of a suitable. Because of the regular rains and the cool temperatures, they don't need basically a storage unit that's suitable. And so if you can give them what they want, they're going to grow like grass. If you don't give them what they want, they don't have that suitable to rely on as a reserve of food and water, and they basically perish in fairly short order. Now that you know a little bit about their native environment, how does that pertain to your growing environment and what you need to do to keep Masdevallias happy? Again, the mantra is cool, moist, and shady. This greenhouse never gets above about 78 degrees. The humidity stays 55% or above. It's very well shaded. There's 2 layers of plastic on this greenhouse. The outside layer is white, and on top of that there's shade cloth that stays on year-round, even in our environment, so they don't need a ton of sunlight. North windows, east windows inside the house are fantastic. For the humidity, we always recommend what we call a humidity tray, which is basically just a pan filled with rock that you can fill up with water so that the plants sit on top of the rocks but not in the water. That creates a lot of humidity from below and will really help keep the plants nice and plump. Again, because they don't have pseudobulbs, they have no way to store a bunch of water, so you really need to keep them moist and humid. As far as watering goes, basically just never let them dry out completely. You don't want them soaking wet, but you never want them crispy dry. They can't take it. The leaves will start falling off almost immediately, and before you know it, you have a dead plant. I wanted to talk a little bit about who should be growing Masdevallias and who shouldn't. If you live on the Pacific coast, if you live in the Northeast, or if you live somewhere that's just really temperate, go for it. Masdevallias are fantastic, and you will have nothing but fun with them. If you live in Dallas or Phoenix or someplace really hot and dry, don't even bother. There's enough orchids around that you don't need to grow every single one of them, and Masdevallias may not fit into your growing environment well. It would take a lot of work, and it just may not be worth it for you. So if you do decide that you can grow Masdevallias, there are numerous reasons why you should try. One is just the diversity of colors in Masdevallias. Again, you can go from whites to purples to solid reds. Masdevallias with polka dots, Masdevallias with stripes. There are a million different kinds of Masdevallias. And the nice thing is if you can grow one of them, you can pretty much grow all of them. Another great reason to grow Masdevallias is just how fast they grow. They grow like grass. It's amazing how much weight they put on in one season. You can go from a 2-inch pot to a 4-inch pot in a year, and from a 4-inch pot to an 8-inch pot in another year. They really do grow fast when they're happy and healthy. One of the things I would like to mention is Masdevallias are one of a number of orchids that really prefer to be repotted every single year. They grow huge amounts of roots very quickly. We grow in coconut fiber, and so it's just a matter of taking them out, shaking them off, and splitting them if we want, or putting them into a bigger pot. But whatever you're going to do, they really do like to be repotted every single year. I wanted to talk a little bit about the anatomy of a Masdevallia flower because it's a little bit unusual for the orchid world. The main show of a Masdevallia flower are the sepals, the outside petals, and there are 3 of them. A lot of times they're fused at the base, sometimes they're completely tubular, but a lot of times they open up towards the ends and flare out into a nice flower. The unusual thing is the petals and the lip are very reduced in a Masdevallia flower. They're almost non-existent, and you can't see them really until you take the flower apart. The petals are the 2 white, long, almost filaments on the side of the column. And then the lip is just generally a very small, contrasting color, usually a dark purple, and it's buried way down inside the orchid flower. So you don't see it like you would on a normal orchid flower. It's usually the showiest part of an orchid flower. And on a Masdevallia, it's almost completely invisible. This is a photo of just a little bit of the diversity that you can get with Masdevallia flowers. Again, from very light colors, yellows and whites, pure colors, to stripes and spots. And even with some of the Masdevallias, like Masdevallia vechiana and its hybrids, a solid colored flower, but the hairs on the petal themselves are another color, and a lot of times they're iridescent. So if they catch the sunlight in just the right way, they'll actually change colors from a bright orange to a very bright purple. It's almost like you plug them into an outlet and turn them on. Alright guys, thank you very much for joining us for another plant of the day, and in this case, genus of the day. This has been Masdevallias, and if you have any questions about them or would like to order any, please visit our website, www.orchidpeople.com. We have a lot more in stock than what's on the website, so if you're looking for something in particular, give us a call. We'll be happy to help you, or at least point you in the right direction where you can get it. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.